Okay, so y'all know I love Koala, AUM, probably top two scalar, tonality, and radio unit AU from Beep Street. So I couldn't sleep, so I made a song last night, and it's rare that I get excited about a song that I'm doing. Usually I just do it and then move on. But this one kind of piqued my interest. What I did was I took Radio AU and I used the Jazz DeVille station and just recorded in a nice chunk of music, just letting it play, straight instrumental. It was just horns and with a little character in the background of that. So I let it play, and this is what I came up with. I'm going to play it for you first, and then this is the intro, and then I'll let it go into the actual part of the track so you can kind of hear what I did. One second. I gotta turn the radio off first. Of course. Sorry about that. So I want to turn that off because otherwise the radio will come on and play while we do it. All right, let's do this again. Okay, cool. So how did I make this? Well, there's a couple things going on. First of all, for those that don't know, Koala has a multi-out. So you can have 8 different channels so that you can mix, which is a beautiful thing. So this was chopped up loop that I made. I took parts, one-shot these, and then put them all on. And by the way, if you're wondering how I do that, one shot, and then I put them on choke group so they all choke each other out, right? The intro, I took one part, one second, which sounds like that. Well, it doesn't sound exactly like that. There's an effect on it. So let me turn that effect off so you can hear exactly what I'm doing. One second here. Yeah, there we go. Let's turn that off on the intro so you can just hear the sample. That's all it is. But what I did was I pitched three semitones down on the same sample. So I made copies. 1 regular, 6 semitones down, and then the reverse of the 6 semitone down. And that's the intro. And then what I did was I added in silo, unfiltered audio silo, and used it's called DNA repair strings, which I think sounds kind of cool and gives it a little more texture. Sorry, I'm moving my screen here. I accidentally put Koala down at the bottom. And one thing about AUM, there we go, you can move stuff around, but on the iPhone, because the screen is smaller, sometimes it becomes a hassle. So that's what I did with that. Then I went to the, here we can look at it here. Then I went to these other parts and created a basically a 4-bar riff, to which you hear play twice, and then at the end of the 8, so I run it twice, then I run it again, and on the last 8 bars you hear, right, for the last part. So that's basically what it is, okay? None of these samples are pitched. But what I did do to the samples was I added in this EQ, which I think is free, blindfold EQ, and I used the clarity setting because I just want it to be clear. That's all I want to do is clear up the sample as much as I can. Then I love this new plugin by why am I getting it confused? Is it Audio Things? Something like that. Anyway, it's called Things Texture, and they have a shimmering effect in there, and it almost sounds like it changes stuff into like strings or something. Can't really describe exactly, but when you put it on, this is what it makes it sound like. I'm gonna start this and then I'm gonna just solo out this track. So you see what it does? It gives that shimmering effect, and it really just, I don't know, it just makes it sound bigger than what it is. So what I'm doing is I'm using this effect only on the chorus. So the first time it plays around, it plays without it. And then after I go 8 bars, and if you want to know the bars at the top of the transport bar is, you can see it. So this is how you take the same riff and then make that riff sound like it's something else, kind of giving you 2 parts to your song. Just a simple effect, can do that type of thing. And I think this plugin is like $2.99 right now. So don't be afraid to use that for your song to make your song sound cool and different. I added some bongos in, so when you hear, I can't do the solo on there. Let me go to here and turn on the, or let you hear the bongos. 1 second. And they sound bigger than that. Now watch this. I'm gonna show you this trick I did. This is mode units. I think it's called mood units. I'm sorry. And they make a cool plugin, and when you buy the plugin and you buy all the different sounds they have, they give you effects that you can actually use. And one of them I like is this delay. It's really simple. You can tap it out, or you can put in like the division you want and then change the tone, and it's really simple, but I love it. And so what it does for me in this track is allows me to make the bongos sound even better. So check this out. I'm going to turn it off, and then I'm just going to play you the bongos without it, and then I'll let you hear what it sounds like. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Can you hear me? Let's see. Check. Hold on a second. Okay, sorry about that. The challenges of recording on your phone when you use your phone for everything else is this. People sending you messages, notifications. It's a pain in the butt is really what it is, to be honest. Okay, back to the bongos. And I'm out and about, so I'm not just sitting here. So you got people flying by blowing horns. But anyway, the bongos without the delay sound like this. I'm going to solo. Okay, so that you can hear me, I'm just going to turn the mic on. So without. So you'll notice it's super subtle. It's not like I'm putting a crazy delay on it that's that's really going crazy. In fact, I kept it at 1/8 just so it's not like, because if you change that to 16th, it's going to start really getting weird. So it sounds more natural to me if I just put a simple delay on there and not overdo it. Okay, keep the mix down low so that the delay just feels like it's a natural delay from you hitting the drum. All right, just a little tip I found. All right, so then I went in, and you can see I have here knock. I like to put a knock on each one, the kick, the snare, everything by itself, because I don't want punch on drum. I don't want the sub on everything, right? So if you have one on each channel, it allows you to make that sound pretty cool. So on my hats, what I did was I use pan station. Sorry about this. Pan station. And I like to use the basic sync pan where it just syncs back and forth. And then I set the rate to 1/8. Pretty much the same thing as what I would set the delay. And the reason why I did that is because I recorded the hats using the note repeat in Koala at 1/8. So I wanted them to match so that when it syncs, it just goes back and forth with each other. Every other hat would hit the left or right. But I don't want it to be too dramatic. So you'll notice I turned the depth knob, which is over here to the right. I turned it down to like 20%. All I wanted to do is do a basic little pan, but so light that it still feels like the hats are in the center, but they're slightly hitting the edges just so you can kind of fit them in the mix. That's basically why I'm doing that. I'm not going to demonstrate that because I've done that plenty of times. The other thing is, by the way, these last two channels, the channel is at the top, 7. So up here where I just move you'll see that's 7 and that's 8. I have nothing on those. So I'll probably add the bass and maybe one lead or something. Now let's talk about what I put on the master chain. So on the iPhone, I don't have all the apps because if you have the iPad, you have like Fab Filter and things that aren't on the iPhone. But Tone Boosters is one of my favorites. And I use, in Tone Boosters, I use the real bus. And then you can pick, I usually do the master tape. And then I'll use the EQ and use the master bus template. This is all Tone Boosters. Any of these ones that kind of have the yellow blue right here are Tone Booster. My favorite app that I use on desktop and on iOS is Haze 2 Clev Grand. I'd probably put that in my top 10 for sure. And I usually use a natural width on the there just to spread the sound, but not too crazy. EOS 2 has become my new favorite reverb on iOS. I think Audio Damage makes this one. And I use the ambient, and what I do is I turn it down to like 10%. I just wanted to give the track some air. And then Barricade, probably my favorite. In fact, I use this on desktop too. As a compressor limiter combo, this thing will get your sound where you need it. So you'll see all I do in here is turn the gain knob, which is over here to the right, from 6 dB to like 3 dB, depending on the track. Some tracks are louder, so you don't need as much. But generally speaking, I'll leave it at 6 and then back it off as I need to. I rarely ever go over 6. And that's the same on desktop. And Haze 2 and Barricade are the two that I use on desktop. In replace of EOS 2 on desktop, I use the Valhalla Vintage Verb. That thing is amazing. And in fact, I've heard that Valhalla helped on making EOS 2. So there you go. If you got an EOS 2, it's kind of like your little desktop Valhalla. It's not on that level, but it's good. All right. So that's pretty much my track. And then when I record this out, I have to do 2 sections. So I have to do a section where I bring in this for the chorus part, and then a section without it, right? So I'll probably record, and then the track that has the bongos is for the chorus. So that track will have its own place. So I record each part out, and if you touch the R, you see I touched it down here, that's how you get each individual track recorded out. What you can do is record it out without the master. And then if you're going to put these in, let's say a DAW that you want to sequence or arrange them, then you can use the stems. And to get the stems perfect, let's say you have an 8-bar. I'm going to touch up here. Follow me. Hit the 3 dots. Turn on Sync Quantum. And just put it for however many bars you want. And then what you're going to do is hit record. Make sure you arm the tracks that you want recording. Not that one for sure. But all the tracks. Just arm them all. Okay? I'm not going to do it right now, but I'm just showing you. Arm the tracks. Hit record. Make sure you have it start back at the beginning. Hit record. And then right after you hit it again. And what it's going to do is create you a perfect 8-bar loop. Then you send those loops out, pick them out of your AUM folder, and then send those to whatever DAW you're gonna finish on. Okay. Can you finish in here? Absolutely. You can record a live mix out for however many bars you want. Personally, I'm not gonna do it that way, but you could. So like if you go in here, if you wanted to do it in here, my personal way is to use Koala as the arranger. And you do that by pretty much just stacking, then add to it, add to the end, and now it's a 16 bar. Let's say you want to do it again, add to the end here. Now you got 32. If you want your intro, maybe you put that down here and then add this to the end, right? So now you got an intro. So if you go in here, it's kind of hard to see all this, but you can see you're just sequencing. Then you go in here, and if you want to delete parts, like let's say you want to take the drums out at a certain point, just highlight that section that you want to take off and delete it. And that's the way I sequence in Koala. Is it easy? To me, yes. Is it tedious on the iPhone? Absolutely. Because if you think about it, you're doing all of this with this little bitty screen. But believe me, I can do it. So you can do it if it's what you got. Just work with what you got, and put together songs and use the radio AU. Disguise the mix or the samples by chopping them up really good. You can micro chop. You can flip it by putting a lot of effects on it to where it sounds completely different. All those ways are ways to make music right here on your iPhone in Koala and have a blast doing it. And like I said, I couldn't sleep, so I did mine last night. But yeah. So I'll let you hear the song just on the outro. Here we go. All right, that was fun. All right, you guys, until the next one, I'm out.